Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Likon Obanjo. The top stories at this hour. Farmers, herders ambushed, killed in Basa local government area of Plateau State. Arewa Consultative Forum accuses President Tinubu of focusing more on his re-election campaigns to the detriment of national issues. Security forces block Cameroonian opposition MRC headquarters in Douala. Details to come your way shortly. We begin with security matters. As the security situation in Benue State continues to generate concern, the recent relocation of the Chief of Army Staff to the state has sparked a wave of reactions. Now joining us live from Benue State is our correspondent, Sagir Ibrahim, who's been tracking developments on the ground, and we'll be speaking with local political figures and, of course, security analysts on what this move means for the region and the state and the troubled communities too. Sagir Ibrahim, good evening. Over to you.
Good evening, Lekon. Thank you for having me on the news this evening. I'm still in Makurdi, of course, following up with the insecurity situation in the state, the activities of non-state actors and consistent attacks by suspected armed herders, across different communities here in the state. I'm at the popular food basket roundabout here in Makurdi, the state capital, and of course we'll be bringing you the updates. Well, in light of the development, in light of the insecurity in the state, it attracted the attention of quite a number of individuals, including the federal government, prompting, of course, a partial relocation, temporary relocation of the Chief of Army Staff to Benue State. Now, this has generated reactions and expectation by residents and others who have been watching these developments, to know whether this would bring a lasting solution to the issues of insecurity in the state. And right now, I'll be speaking with one of such individuals. He was a two-time acting chairman of both Gwe West local government and also Kwande local government, two of which have been attacked, very recently by these suspected armed herders. I would have joining me Dr. Uto Thaddeus. Dr. Uto Thaddeus would be answering questions with regards to this development. Good evening, Doctor. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, so the first question would now be what your reaction was when you heard that the Chief of Army Staff was relocating partially to Benue State.
First and foremost, I want to say that you made a mistake by saying food basket of the nation. You are referring to Benue State as food basket of the nation. It's no longer news to hear that it has changed to date basket of the nation because of the recent attacks made on the people of Benue State and particularly Gwe West local government where I come from. With the relocation, the said relocation of the Chief of Army Staff to Benue State, well, to some extent, we have not seen positive change. And there are reports from various quarters that the man just visited Benue and went back. So as to whether there is positive effect, I am yet to know, because up to today, the killings is still going on. So our problem basically is flushing out these Fulanis who claim to be indigenous. And at my age, I am over 60 years old, I have never coexisted with the Fulanis. Okay. And even in those days, when you see Fulanis passing to the southern region, they were harmless. Today, they come to a place with heavily loaded, and I strongly believe that their mission is different from ordinary grazing.
Okay. So we're going to be having more of these details, but then I also have joining me Dr. Francis Ayaga. Dr. Francis Ayaga was two-time local government chairman of Gwe West local government. He is from Agagbe community, even though Naka was the community that was recently attacked. But he is also a social and political analyst. Dr. Francis, speak to us about what your immediate reaction was when you heard that the Chief of Army Staff was coming here and what they are right now.
I am not a pessimist. So when I heard that the Chief of Army Staff came to Benue State, I believe he's going to do something good. But then, I do believe that his failure or success depends on the political will of the governor. Because as an indigene and as one who has been following the security issues in the state, he has been speaking with both sides of his mouth. So I am waiting to see the result. But let me be quick to inform you that there has been anti-open grazing law in the state for the past 8 years. I remember in 2020, when we had a joint security meeting with Nasarawa state government at Yerwata, the boundary between Nasarawa and Benue State. The headers claimed they are coming to Benue State because they are not aware of the boundary between Benue and Nasarawa State. Well, at that time, they could be excused because the anti-open grazing law was barely 3 years. But from that time to this time, this is exactly 8 years. So I wonder what they are doing in Benue State. And to my greater dismay, about 2 days ago, the leader of Metiala, Juan Ardo Rescue, and his secretary, Ibrahim Gamo, made a press conference accusing the indigents of roasting their cows. And then, to my greater dismay, I learned from the press conference that there was intervention of the police and other government officials. I ask, is the anti-open grazing law in existence? If it is, we are the headers, we are the cattle roasted in their ranches. If not, this morning I wrote an open letter to the governor asking to order for the arrest of the Aldo and the secretary for prosecution.
All right, we're going to get to that conversation, but then I think we should focus back on the conversation on expectations from the federal government, particularly the Nigerian Armed Forces. I still have Dr. Uto with me. Dr. Uto, you are from Naka.
Yes.
I was in Naka just barely 24 hours ago, and the traditional ruler there, the Tet Yoshin in Naka there, explained that while the army is there, it seems that they've fallen prey to what he described as occupational relief, and this has made it difficult for them to carry out their responsibilities. What would be
this total complicity on the part of the military? The army personnel deployed to Gwa West local government. I don't know whether because they have overstayed in that place. For now, they have turned the place as a revenue point because they want the thing to continue so that they will have that revenue. So that even when there is an attack very close to their base, the attackers go without being arrested or attack or counter-attack as it is. They often claim that they are the Nigerian army, they are not for people, they are not for us. But I wonder, because these people continue attacking us. Look at the recent killings. There was killings of over 12 people at Obiam, where there is a military base. Most of those people that were killed ran to the base and they were sent away by the military personnel. And in the course of retreating and going back, they were killed.
Finally, Doctor, what steps would you like to see that will finally convince you to say, okay, maybe actionable steps are being taken to put this to rest permanently?
There are two things that needed to be done.
Tell us.
One, why are they here? They are not part of Benue State. They should be sent back. They are killing us, and they are claiming responsibility for killing our people. just like my colleagues have said, quite recently, the officials of the Miatiala claim that they are doing that thing because we have roasted, the people have roasted their cattle. Where? The question is where? Because there is a law in place, and that law is public law. It's not even an individual law, not even the governor, because it was the collective aspiration of the Benue people that accumulated into the law. So now, if they want us to be served, they should flush out these headers or the militias, and then allow us to also move with weapons, just like they have granted them the opportunity to move with AK-47 and other dangerous weapons. In that case, we also showcase who is much stronger.
You protect yourself, sir.
Yes, because we need to protect ourselves.
Thank you, Doctor.
And that is the situation on ground. The federal government, the people who are responsible for protecting and ensuring the safety of Nigerians have been saying over and over.
All right.
We should protect ourselves.
I hope that they are watching this right now, and I hope that they will do that. Lekon, if you permit me just a few seconds, I would like actually for Dr. Francis Ayaga to also give his concluding statement on what you would expect to see that would finally convince you that probably the issues are being resolved permanently in 20 seconds if possible.
A problem no is a problem solved. Like I earlier told you, the header militia are here. They have their sponsors within them. I told you about 2 days ago, the Ardo addressed a press conference highlighting how they stole their cows. If these people are brought to book, because I'm very much aware that they know the killers. If you know that your cows are stolen here, you should also know who is killing who in that place. If these people are arrested, are prosecuted, our problems will be over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Francis. Well, that's been the position and the opinions of Dr. Francis Ayaga and also Dr. Uta Thaddeus, two-time local government representatives here in Benue State. They've made brazen accusations, of course, accusing the Mieti Allah, which, of course, I have also been in contact with. I'm trying to get an interview with them, and as soon as we can, they would also be speaking to us and giving their own side of the story. Back to you in the studio, Lekon.
Thank you so much, Sagir Ibrahim, for helping us to get the details from these people who actually know where it pinches. We will continue to track back with you to get more details from your end. Let's quickly go on our short break. When we return, we'll bring you more security-related stories. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, 4 people, including 2 herders and 2 farmers, were reportedly ambushed and killed in Iwok Ishi community of Kakek district of Basa local government area of Plateau State. 2 persons who were critically injured during the incident were rushed to Jos University Teaching Hospital for medical attention. According to local sources, the ambush occurred while the victims were heading for their mining sites. The attack on the victims has caused confusion amongst the residents, given the long-standing tensions between Irigwe and Fulani in Miango district of Basa. To discuss this, we're joined by pioneer commander of the multinational Joint Task Force and consultant on national security, retired Brigadier General John Temlong. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the news.
Thank you. Always my pleasure. You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Now, these attacks and killings of farmers and people in Plateau, Borno, Benue, Zamfara, and other agrarian states are quite scary. How would you describe this pattern of violence?
Well, it's quite scary, but I think the military and the other security agencies have their hands on it. They're putting all they can to make sure that you and me can be able to discuss like this, a situation like this. It's something that is a mixture of so many things. One, you have criminality, which is at the source of it. You have insurgents and terrorists in some others. And then you have what fighting for resources. And these resources could be land for grazing, water for the animals. There could also be mineral resources, as it were, in Plateau and Zamfara state, and some other mineral-rich states. So it's quite complex that people sometimes think it's a one-way situation that we have. But as it were, I think situations are getting back to normal at least. It's not as heightened as they used to be, even though there are local areas that you have, like in Benue, being reported, and here in the Plateau. We send our condolences to the relatives, our hearts are with them. But it's something that we, the citizens, must be involved in it. It needs a citizen participation actively in the security situation to be able to deal with this situation. So we will discuss that as the time goes on.
But some people in the communities affected have accused the Nigerian military of being complicit. How would you react to that allegation?
Well, I want to take some serious exceptions to that. But you see, our citizens should be able to look at. That is why all soldiers that are deployed, not even deployed, they carry a name tag. Everybody carries a name tag, and their units are not hidden. And these days, you have very good cameras on your phones that you can easily snap those who are involved. There is no organization in this world that you do not have people who are bad eggs in them. So you help the authorities by reporting those ones so that they can be dealt with. It's never a policy of the armed forces of Nigeria to connive with miscreants, with terrorists, or with criminals to create havoc and wreak havoc on the citizens of this country. It's never a policy. The defense policy of this country clearly states that once the armed forces is deployed, their first duty is to protect civilians. So if you have miscreants among them, bring them out. The military has a very good justice system that deals with them without any inhibition. In fact, in the military, they say justice suffers at the expense of discipline. It's now that a lot of this proliferation of NGOs that you have that will keep disturbing here and there human rights organizations who do not even care about the rights of those who are being killed. They only care about the rights of criminals, terrorists. So it's quite unfortunate. But the military has no policy. It's a zero tolerance for those sort of things. Report them and they are dealt with quickly according to the military justice system.
All right, sir. As a retired Brigadier General, I believe you know better. What are the challenges in executing offensive attacks against these criminal elements in their hideouts?
Well, you see, sometimes people talk as if it's, when you talk about asymmetric operations, they are different from when you are having a clear-cut conventional military operation, where you have an enemy that for instance, if Nigeria is at war with a different country, or like when the Americans, or like you have Ukraine and Russia now, it's a war between two belligerent countries, you know? And so you know that anybody who is Russian on this side is an enemy. Anybody Ukrainian is an enemy to the Russian. But in this case, you have people who are embedded within the civilian population. Some of them are from outside, but they have internal collaborators, citizens of this country that collaborate with them to wreak havoc on their fellow citizens. So it becomes difficult when you say attack them. Do you attack your own citizens? The same people that are talking now will be the ones who start crying hell that Nigeria is committing human rights violation, and they should be taken to the International Criminal Justice Court. So it's quite a difficult situation that you have. And that's why it is called an asymmetric threat, and it is the most messy and difficult operation that you can ever deal with. Because everybody is a citizen, whether he's a terrorist, or whether he's a good citizen, whether he's a collaborator, is a citizen. Until you catch him in the act or he does otherwise, then you know he is a terrorist. But then when the citizens are involved, that's why we say citizens' participation in defense or in the national security. When we say security is everybody's business, then it means that if in my household I suspect the behavior of somebody and say, look, this my child is not behaving well, I see him having some extra resources that are not from his legitimate earnings,
All right.
and I see certain criminal elements moving around with him, I should be able to report him.
All right, sir. Finally, before I let you go, I mean, you are also a consultant on national security. Do you think that perimeter fencing of the borders will also help in curbing migration of these illegal migrants?
Well, seriously, you see, there is no foolproof situation, but it can only curb. What the Americans did was trying to put a wall across Mexico, but when a determined enemy can listen. But the important nightmare now for any country is you see what the drones are doing, unarmed aerial systems that they do not have. Even if you put a wall across, yes, it can prevent the combatants from coming in. They have a place to come in. But how do you even, you have to use electronics again to make sure that that wall is not breached easily. But even in past, looking at the past experiences, the Israelis had what they call the Balev line, and they thought it was the best defensive system in the Sinai Desert against the Egyptians. But it took the Egyptians about 48 hours to breach it.
Okay.
A determined enemy will definitely breach the wall, but then it will prevent. What it does, what we call in the military obstacle is to delay, not to stop.
All right.
So once it delays, it means you have time to react. So that to me is a welcome development, that if we can afford it,
Okay.
but if to use technology as a force multiplier to be able to make sure that our porous borders are
safe.
adequately catered for.
All right, thank you so much, retired Brigadier General John Temlong, for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now, away from security matters, ahead of June 12 Democracy Day in Nigeria, residents of Rivers State say they have no reasons to mark the day following the suspension of the legislative and executive arms of government. While some residents are calling for the reinstatement of the governor and lawmakers in the spirit of the sacrifices characterizing the June 12 Democracy Day, others lamented that there has been a sharp decline in economic activities and general livelihood in the state. And now, News Central's Biola Festus is on standby on the streets of Port Harcourt to get the people's thoughts. Biola Festus, good evening to you. What exactly are the people of Rivers saying as June 12 approaches?
The feeling has been so light, unlike other years when those the democracy day approaches. We will see the hive of activities in Port Harcourt, both from politicians and, of course, residents and even technocrats. But this year is been on a lighter note. I mean, it's just few days to Democracy Day. We've been on the streets trying to get the people's feeling about it in Rivers State. But the general response has been, what we need to celebrate. Why do we have to celebrate when we know that the democratically elected officials in the state are currently on suspension, talking about the governor and, of course, the members of the River State House of Assembly. So for them, it's been a no-no. And in the spirit of democracy, also, if you go to the social media space around here, you see several people tweeting that the governor should be reinstated alongside the lawmakers just to celebrate the Democracy Day. Chakbo?
Yes, actually, Lekon, but then, Biola, let's move on. What about traditional rulers and community leaders? I mean, I understand that they would have settled in with the sole administrator, but then are they satisfied with having to work with him instead of a democratically elected governor?
As for the traditional institutions, they will always say that their work is to maintain instability in their localities. They do not mind who the administrator is, whether politically elected or appointed, just as we have now. Their own focus is not on politics, but of course to maintain the traditional institutions of the state. So according to them, if the presidency has appointed a sole administrator, of course they will work with them.
Thank you so much, Biola Festus, for sharing these updates with us. Let's talk about the energy sector now. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has said the Dangote Petroleum Refinery should sell premium motor spirits below the current 825 naira per litre being sold by the Lekki-based plant. IPMAN Publicity Secretary Chinedu Ukadike, in an interview with our correspondent, stated that the refinery had the necessary enabling factors to sell petrol below its current ex-depot price. Ukadike was reacting to a comment by the president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, that the refinery contributed to the consistent drop in fuel prices to a level that Nigerians pay about 55% of what other West African citizens pay for petrol. And now joining us to speak more on this is the Publicity Secretary of IPMAN, Chinedu Ukadike. Mr. Ukadike, thank you so much for coming around.
Yeah, thank you, and good evening, Nigerians.
Yeah, so let's start this way. Independent marketers complained when Dangote Refinery increased fuel price. They complained when it started reducing the price, and now they are asking for a further drop in price. Why?
Well, what gave us that perception is the gesture by the federal government, and also the dropping in price of the crude oil in the international market. You can also see that our naira for some time now has been a little bit stable. So these are the factors that determine the domestic price of petroleum products, in Nigeria. And when the Presidential Committee on Crude Oil Sale decided to sell crude oil to Dangote in dollars, the products, the cost of domestic petroleum products rise. And also Dangote even abruptly stopped supplying. Immediately that issue happened, you see a lot of racketeering in the system and profiteering, whereby some government members abruptly increase their prices and started holding products to be able to create unnecessary artificial scarcity. But with the intervention of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who also redirected the new managing director of the new GMD of NNPC, Ogunlari, to see to it that crude oil is given to Dangote Naira. Dangote bounced back again with a very loud reduction of 15 Naira, and the product continued to dwindle since that time till now. You will also bear with me that within this period under review, that product has been going down drastically, or no, sometimes to the detriment of marketers who might have bought these products very costly. Before they get to their destination, the product has dropped again, and our landing cost is also decreased, and nobody is there to prefer the problems of independent marketers when the product goes down. So, but we still hear that because Mr. President have done this, and Brent crude is also going down, even to 68, 69, 65. is going down out of 70 something naira it was before. These are the factors that will make the basic petroleum product high. And this time around, we are now looking from the guarantee of Dangote. Some of these excess charges of the mass and the rest of them has been waived out. And some other independent marketers who has imported outside the country are selling within the range of Dangote. Some of them are selling at 826, some of them are selling at 829. So Dangote, who is refining here, who is not importing refined petroleum product, should sell something less than 800 naira. You see, this market is all about competition. We are in a price war, and Dangote is battle ready to combat anybody who have decided not to patronize him to go and buy petroleum products as well. Sometimes you keep on wondering, why is marketers going outside to go and to import petroleum products? While we have Dangote, who have over 500 million liters in storage for waiting, begging independent marketers and other major marketers to come and pick. So if this is so, I think what should have driven the market is the low cost of the product.
Okay, so we probably might say Forex is stable, but then we cannot categorically say that the global crude oil market is stable. And with Nigeria not still meeting Dangote's entire domestic supply, that is the demand now, don't you think that Dangote might be losing at some point if he's been told, or if he decides to further reduce the price?
No, Dangote is a refinery. You can't take it away from this cost of production is also known to him. But I'm also comparative with those that are importing from outside, who are also selling around 826 naira, putting their importation costs, putting their logistics and all the rest of them, and all these charges. Somebody that is refining locally here should sell less than 800. You know, this price war, because Dangote in his press briefing also stated clearly that some people are sabotaging him, and they are also importing why he has petroleum products. So the best way to be able to checkmate those people who are importing is to ensure that your own product and price is more cheaper than the one they will bring in. If they bring in petroleum product at 830 naira, nobody will buy it. But if they bring product less than 800, people will buy it. Even the president has also appealed to marketers. He cannot stop them. The PIA gave elaborate this thing for people to go and import petroleum product if they say it's cheaper. And then DPR is still giving licenses to people who want to import today and tomorrow with a last span of 3 months. You understand me? So if you want to import, and that is the beauty of deregulation, you can't just say, yes, because Dangote is refining here in Nigeria, nobody should go and import. No. If you know that you have created an artificial monopoly. And also looking at Port Harcourt refinery, they are supposed to be producing to checkmate Dangote's price. They are not producing. So that is the why we said, with the power of negotiation and competitive pricing, because they said the factors of demand and supply determines the price of petroleum product.
Yeah. So
if you look at the international market, it goes up and it comes down. Yes, we know that it goes up and it comes down. But the crude has come down drastically this period of time. So something, there was time crude was 89 naira, $89 per barrel. But now it's going to 60 something, no. 60, 69, 68. Down. What? It's going down. If you look at the analysis, it's going down gradually. So products supposed to be asked, the crude is going down, like Medicare said, that the determination factors of local product is the dollar rate and the crude rate.
Yeah, okay. Well,
it's constant.
Thank you so much.
Explicitly, yes.
Yeah, we understand. Chinedu Kadiki, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Let's talk politics now. The Arawa Consultative Forum has criticized President Bola Tinubu and the ruling All Progressives Congress for being more obsessed with early re-election campaigns and defections to their fold ahead of the 2027 elections as against national concerns. The group, which said rather than address the security challenges and other existential challenges confronting the nation, the public policies of the administration has remained ineffective. In a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Professor Mohammed Baba, the ACF lamented that public policy responses to the insecurity situation especially in the northern part of the country, has remained ineffective, even as profligacy and reckless expenditures by public officials were in contrast to sacrifices by the citizens. To infrastructure now, ahead of commissioning of 17 key infrastructural projects within the Federal Capital Territory, slated for Tuesday, June 10 to July 3, the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has commended the leadership of President Bola Tinubu for ensuring the successful completion and execution of the projects. The minister, during a last-minute inspection, visited several of the projects already slated for commissioning and expressed delight at the state of works, including the support of the president.
Prudent financial management is key. Nobody can claim that he has all the resources in the world, but the ability to manage prudently is what is more important. We went to International Conference Center. You can see how beautiful it is for world-class standard. We've been to the N5, done by Julius Berger, see the quality of job. We've been to Gishiri, see the quality of job done by CGC. Now we're in Norsex, we're going to Wassa and see the quality of jobs. I mean, what would anybody say other than to say, God will thank you that we have been able to fulfill the promises the Renewed Hope agenda made to the people of FCT.
Coming up on the news, security forces block Cameroonian opposition MRC headquarters in Douala. We'll tell you more when we are back. Stay with us. The news continues in Central Africa, where security forces in Douala have blocked access to the headquarters of the Movement for the Renaissance of Cameroon, the opposition party led by presidential candidate Maurice Kamto. Kamto was prevented from entering the party's headquarters despite the presence of a large number of supporters gathered for a scheduled meeting. The police maintained a strong presence around the building, effectively barring entry to both Kamto and his followers. This move has heightened tensions as MRC continues to face restrictions amid ongoing political challenges in Cameroon. Outside of Africa, we tell you that the police ordered the public to disperse from downtown Los Angeles after further unrest, with cars torched and security forces firing tear gas at protesters in the wake of Donald Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to America's second biggest city. Protests in Los Angeles, home to a large Latino population, broke out on Friday, triggered by immigration raids that resulted in dozens of arrests of what authorities say are illegal migrants and gang members. Meanwhile, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says National Guard troops sent by the federal government are a dangerous escalation.
What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you raid Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation. I want the people of Los Angeles to know that we stand with all Angelenos, no matter where you were born. The First Amendment right gives you the ability, again, to protest peacefully, but it does not give you the right to be violent, to create chaos, or to vandalize property, and that will not be tolerated.
In business, the Federal Executive Council has approved a 10-year national urban development policy to guide Nigeria's urban growth. Announced by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, the policy introduces metropolitan planning commissions to manage cities that span multiple local governments. It also embraces the 15-minute city concept aimed at creating walkable, mixed-use neighborhoods with easy access to services like work, healthcare, and education. The NUDP seeks to reduce congestion, cut emissions, and enhance urban living, reflecting the government's push for sustainable, inclusive urbanization in response to Nigeria's fast expanding cities. We also tell you that Nigeria's federal government says the removal of petrol subsidy by President Bola Tinubu has saved Nigeria over $84 billion, ending decades of fiscal hemorrhage. A policy explainer by the National Orientation Agency revealed that the funds redirected from subsidy payments have financed 40 critical road projects nationwide over the past 2 years. It added that the move averted economic collapse, boosted capital expenditure, and stabilized state economies. The document highlighted that Nigeria's subsidy bill peaked at 4 trillion naira in 2022, a 700% surge before the policy shift in May 2023. Nigeria's electricity distribution companies, DISCOs, recorded a revenue shortfall of 202.61 billion naira in Q1 2025, despite a 106.68% year-on-year surge in billing to 761.91 billion naira. According to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the DISCOs collected only 559.3 billion naira, reflecting a collection efficiency of 73.4%. Although the volume of revenue increased compared to Q1 2024, the shortfall more than doubled from 77.03 billion naira. These highlight ongoing inefficiencies in bill recovery and wide performance disparities among DISCOs, raising concerns about sustainability and investment in Nigeria's power sector. A bit of sports now. APR of Rwanda qualified for their first ever BAL semi-final with a commanding 104-73 victory over Nigeria's Rivers Hoopers in the 2025 Basketball Africa League quarterfinals in Pretoria. The Rwandan champions dominated from start to finish, sealing a 31-point win to advance to the Final Four. Despite a standout effort from Medut Akek, who posted 21 points, 4 assists and 6 steals, Rivers Hoopers couldn't recover from APR's relentless pace and sharp execution. The loss ends the Kingsmen's impressive run, though they leave the tournament with pride. APR will now face Al Ahly Tripoli of Libya in the semi-finals on Wednesday as they continue the bid for a maiden BL title. The Ibom Golf Open ended on Sunday with Usenobong Akpabio crowned the overall winner and champion. Honorable Akpabio, handicap 6 and the immediate past captain of the Ibom Golf Club, scored 2 to emerge champion out of the 300 golfers who registered for the Ibom Open 2025. Other top award winners in the net tournament include Lucky Hianacho, handicap 20 to 28 men, Rose Inyam, who was the winner in the ladies handicap 0-19 ladies category, while Timmy Rowland won the ladies handicap 29 to 36 category. Paul Ebiala won the veterans category. Former Super Eagles captain Vincent Nyama was among those who presented awards to the winners. Over 150 million naira in prize money was won. And that's all at this hour, but then we look at our top stories before we go. Farmers, herders have been ambushed and killed in Basa local government area of Plateau State. Arawa Consultative Forum has accused President Tinubu of focusing more on his re-election campaigns to the detriment of national issues. We also told you that security forces have blocked Cameroonian opposition MRC headquarters in Douala. Do send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And you can follow us on social media via @NewsCentralTV. Do watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Arvo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Likon Onobanjo.